Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about these three pistols, and mostly we're going to be talking about what they're chambered in. Now from left to right we have an AR-15 chambered in 5.56. In the center we have another AR-15 chambered in 300 Blackout, and on the end there we have a Zastava chambered in 7.62 by 39. Now each of these rifles are roughly about the same size and length. The major difference really comes down to their calibers. So, to show you. So, here on the left we have the 5.56. Center we have the 300 Blackout, and on the end we have the 7.62 by 39. Now, what exactly is the 300 Blackout? The 300 Blackout is sort of a hybrid between these two rounds. It is basically a 5.56 neck down with a 7.62 bullet lodged into it. Now, why is that important, and why does that really actually make any kind of difference? Well, the only real difference it makes is usually when it comes to suppressing these rounds. Now, let me explain. Let's try to get that in focus. Okay, that's a little better. So, the 5.56 over here can be suppressed. There is even subsonic ammunition for the 5.56. However, that ammunition isn't very reliable. It doesn't really function that well. It is out there. It's kind of hard to find, especially right now. But it's just not really that great. Mostly that is because of really just how the 5.56 is designed. You can't really fit a heavy enough bullet in here to slow it down significantly enough. Now you could do that with a 7.62 by 39. However, one of the biggest problems with it is it's most commonly found in the AK platform rifles. Now there's nothing wrong with the AK platform of rifles, but it doesn't suppress as well as the AR-15 platform of rifles. Typically, you gotta put in some sort of adjustable gas piston system in there, or you gotta change out the recoil springs. Oftentimes, you really don't have to do too much tinkering with an AR-15 when it comes to suppression. Sometimes you do with the 5.56 here a little bit, but usually not too much. Most of those problems can be very easily solved by just putting on an adjustable gas block. This one does not have an adjustable gas block because I am not suppressing this one at all. But the center one here, the 300 Blackout, works much better than the other two when we are trying to suppress it. And that's mainly because of how the bullet is designed. Now, this bullet I have right here is a 200 grain subsonic round. You can get these all the way up to 220 grains, and you can get them as light as, I believe, 100 grains, maybe even 90 grains might be out there. Typically, they're about 100, 110, 120 for the supersonics. You can get them at 150. That's beside the point. But it's a lot easier to just change out and switch between magazines and fire this thing suppressed. Now again, you can do that with a 7.62 by 39. It just doesn't work as well in the AK platform. You can do it. Sometimes you just need to swap parts out. That can be a bit of a hassle. With the AR platform, you don't really have to do that. You don't really run into those problems. And really, the biggest problem with the AR platform is it's mostly chambered in the 5.56, and that isn't a great round being suppressed. Now let me talk about maybe some other points where you might actually want to go with a 5.56 AR platform or a 7.62 by 39 AK platform instead of going with the 300 Blackout. One of the biggest drawbacks with the 300 Blackout is its price. Before pandemic, you're looking at probably about 5 times as much money in ammo that you would spend on either 5.56 or 7.62 by 39. The AR platform that we have here one of the best benefits of this being chambered in 5.56 is its range. It really comes down to its speed. So you're probably getting out of the 16 to 20 inch barrel probably about 28 to 3,000 feet per second with this guy. This is only 11 and a half inch barrel, so we're losing quite a bit of velocity through that. So you're kind of losing a lot of your best benefits when it comes to the 5.56, which is its speed. That's really where the 5.56 shines. Most people tell you that the maximum range for a 5.56 in an AR platform would probably be like 300-400 yards. I find that to be completely untrue. Matter of fact, you could really reach out to maybe 500 or 600 yards with a 16-inch barrel, basic AR-15 build. The AK now, a little bit different. You're probably not getting as much range with that, but that doesn't mean that the AK or the 7.62x39 platform isn't a terrible round. Let me explain. Your maximum effective range is probably within 400 yards or less. Now, that's up for debate. You could easily probably reach out past that with a 16-inch, 20-inch barrel, maybe with some extra stuff on there, maybe with some match-grade ammo. I understand that most ammo for the AK that most people are running are probably like Wolf or Tula, really just cheap Russian-made ammunition. You get match-grade ammunition, maybe you can reach out a little bit farther. You're still probably not going to beat a 5.56. However, where it does have an advantage over that is really with its impact. 7.62x39 is going to pack a little bit more of a punch than the 5.56. The 5.56 is running so fast, it's going to put a nice, neat little hold in whatever you're shooting at. A 7.62x39 is going to break apart whatever that person is hiding behind. Whether it be concrete blocks, whatever, it's going to do a lot better job at defeating that, which is why it's seen probably used all over the world in many military conflicts. Not just because it's cheap, but it is actually an effective round. Now, that's probably up to debate whether to say if that's maybe better than 5.56. I know I'd rather probably have a 5.56. However, I admit that there's probably a lot of pushback that you can give me on that. Again, if you're looking into any one of these three rifle platforms as sort of a self-defense sort of setup, and you're looking at the 300 Blackout, let me tell you right now, if you're not going to get a suppressor, if you have no means whatsoever of ever buying a suppressor, which they're expensive. This one right here, about $800 plus the amount, probably looking at about $900 plus a $200 tax stamp. Easily get over $1,000 with some of these. If you're not going to suppress it, don't bother. Stay away from this cartridge. If you are going to suppress it, great. I think this would actually make for a very good little home defense setup, actually. Mostly because when you are firing the subsonic ammunition, let me break down what subsonic ammunition really means. Subsonic ammunition is any ammunition that the bullet velocity is less than 1,125 feet per second. That's the sound barrier. When you break the sound barrier down range, it sets off sonic boom. That's very loud, especially if you're shooting indoors. If you've ever been in an indoor range, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your ears are ringing, you can feel it, the vibrations even in your chest. If you're waking up in the middle of the night, that's probably not ideal if you got a burglar or someone coming in and coming after you. You don't want to be putting yourself in shock, not to mention the muzzle blast from some of these could be enough to blind you in the middle of the night. At the very least, you should really have a flash suppressor, sort of like on this AK here. Nice big beefy flash hider there. So it's not going to necessarily blind you. Can't get that off, but you can see that. But anyway, that is my take on these 3 rifle systems. Again, if you're not going to get a suppressor, you're not going to suppress it, stay away from 300 Blackout. If you want cheap long-range ammunition, maybe, I'd go with a 5.56 and maybe go for something a little bit longer than this. Mostly because you're losing a lot of your advantage by shortening the barrel and losing a lot of your velocity. Or if you want to go with an AK platform, one of the really nice benefits actually to that is you can actually fold the stock or put a folding stock on it. Now these are all pistols, so these are pistol braces. You can put a folding pistol brace on your AK, or you can just remove it altogether, which on the other 2 AR systems you cannot, because that's how their recoil system works. Either way, I think this is a very interesting topic. If you have anything to say, maybe point out anything to me, please leave it in the comments below, and please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.